Hey everyone, we're into more Come Follow Me, which is awesome because we're going to do section 77, which is different than all the other sections in the Doctrine and Covenants. 77 through 80 this week. 77 is really interesting because it's question and answers. Now, we don't know exactly how this was given because in the chapter heading, all the information we see says it's about March 1832. So whether that was collected over several months, whether they just sat down one day and got all this revelation one by one, we don't know. But it's about then. But there's a lot we can learn from this. So we're not actually going to look at any particular verse, because if you want to, go read it, because it really links up with, especially if you're going to study John or Revelation, it really goes into what John wrote and what it actually means, because these are questions we all have when we read John, right? We're like, what does that mean? And it's exactly what Joseph Smith was doing. What does that mean? Because really, that sounds weird. Like one of the examples was about what are the four beasts and what are their eyes and wings, but what are they? Because obviously we don't have any beasts that have wings. That's weird. Is that something we don't know about, or is that representative or symbolic of something? So that's kind of what this whole chapter is about. But they were translating through John and what John saw, which includes Revelation. So from section 77, what we can learn really importantly, and what I'm going to focus on, and what I think a lot of other people will probably focus on when they read this, is what we can learn from about asking questions to the Lord and how that works. So he's waiting for us to ask questions. He doesn't just give us information, he's waiting for us to ask. This whole church we belong to was because Joseph Smith asked, right? It unfolded from there. I bet if you really think about it in your life, the things that you have received revelation over, or the things that you wanted to know, it's because you asked. Even if it was in your heart and your mind and you don't actually say it out loud in a prayer, the Lord hears that and he answers that because you asked. We're supposed to be curious. We're supposed to ask these things. It is absolutely wanted and positive, and they want to hear from you. But we see here specific scriptural questions, and that Joseph and Sidney asked. Maybe they both asked. Maybe it was just Joseph. Maybe some of them were Sidney. I don't know. But this is Joseph saying question, and then the answer comes from the Lord. So from the section we can learn that the study of scriptures will help us understand them. So if you're reading through them and you come across a question like they had, ask it and the answer will come. Maybe not straight away, and maybe you need to find it in a different way than just having it told to you, but it will come. Answers are given to specific questions. The Lord will help us understand as he speaks to us in our language, because the answers given here are very plain. They're very straightforward. They're not done in any type of writing style other than exactly what we understand. And that will be given to you now. So if you ask something, and he will give it to you in your level of understanding and your language and the way that you understand things. So sometimes for us, the answers come through music. Sometimes they come through what someone else says. Sometimes we find them in like a BYU speech, because that's where some of us look. And it will come to you, or maybe it's just through the Holy Ghost and you get told, right? So it will come to you how you are going to understand it best. I've got down here from Emily Bell Freeman, because she's amazing, right? She said, he doesn't just listen to our questions, he responds. And that's so absolutely true. Now, the quote from this is from President Nelson from April 2018. This is really, really cool. He said, okay, we can find answers to questions that perplex us. Or how can we find answers to questions that perplex us, that really confuse us, right? How do we do that? If Joseph Smith's transcendent experience in the sacred grove teaches us anything, it is that the heavens are open and that God speaks to his children. So he's talking about the first vision, right? So if that's going to teach us anything, it's that the heavens are open and you will get a response. You will get an answer. You've got to listen for it and you've got to look for it. You can't just ask and then wait for it to slap you across the face like a dead fish. No. Go look for it. But it will come. That's the big thing. Look in the right places too. I got to say that. Look in the right places. And John, by the way, often talks about different types of questions. And those are golden questions, and you take these to the Lord. You don't Google them. You can Google some of the words to find out what they mean, and maybe that will give you some insight. Absolutely. But you don't Google, you know, oh, I can't think of one right now. Most of my questions have been answered, but a lot of them you take to the Lord, right? You could Google how to make a good chocolate cake. Great. I Google what the weather is, because I do that. I don't think I'd Google these questions that Joseph was asking here about the book of Revelation. Some of the words, it'll give you some information, and you might be able to read someone else's opinion on it, but truly what you want to know, do that. And honestly, if the Lord leads you to the internet to Google something, then go ahead, but take it to the Lord, because that's where the answer is going to come from. All right, so that was covering section 77. It's a very interesting read. Totally threw my husband. Wasn't expecting that. He's like, I've never seen that before. I've read the Doctrine and Covenants before. I don't remember this. I was like, well, you must have been asleep while you're reading it. But this time, his mind is more open because he has been reading scriptures. He's been asking questions and getting answers to them. So I think he was more perceptive this time when he came across it. He was like, oh my gosh. So maybe you're feeling that and gone, oh, I've not seen this before. Oh my gosh, where did this come from? It's been here all the time. I assure you that we didn't just slip it in for this year's study to surprise you all. So if this is something new to you, then maybe you're actually recognizing it this time because your mind is more open to studying the scriptures. And isn't that cool? Right? That's so amazing. So good on you guys. Keep at it and hang around, because we'll do the rest of these, and I'll be back for insight number 2. See you there.